Hello everyone. As part of Learning Task 6, I have produced a video that reflects on my micro-learning environment design. For this learning task, I have chosen my first year course, ENS 504, which is Earth Processes and Resources, and I will be conducting a tutorial session. My intended audience are my first year environmental science students. There are usually 15 to 20 in a tutorial class, and they will be divided into groups of 4 to 5 students. None of my students are colorblind or have any disabilities, and before this tutorial session, a background lecture has already been conducted. The mode of delivery is face-to-face for my ENS 504 course. However, I would have preferred a blended mode of learning, mainly for the flexibility, the encouragement of student-centered learning, and the fact that there is deeper learning as opposed to surface learning. This is what my typical classroom looks like. This is not what my classroom actually looks like in real life, but this image does show similarities in that the desks are separate from one another. They face in only one direction towards the board, and you can see that it is a traditional classroom layout. My ideal classroom layout would be one that encourages group discussions. There would be seats for sitting down. Students have the option of standing up and working. There would be smart boards, whiteboards, computers available that encourages more interactive behavior. If it was a blended course, then I would also have virtual classrooms where my students discuss things with me through either Zoom or Skype. The course learning outcome that I will be covering in this MicroLED session is course learning outcome number 2, which is analyze the physical, chemical, and biological processes affecting the geological resources and processes. My lesson learning outcome is understanding the interconnectivity of the physical, chemical, and biological earth processes, which goes on and requires an in-depth understanding of how the Earth's physical processes, which involves biogeochemical cycles, like chemical processes such as creation of minerals, and biological processes such as photosynthesis, how they're all interconnected. And for the purpose of this 15-minute segment, I will only be focusing on one biogeochemical cycle, which is the carbon cycle. The classroom activity that I will be focusing on is dividing the class into 5 different groups, and each group will be given a different aspect to discuss amongst each other. Group 1 will discuss the decomposition process, Group 2 will discuss photosynthesis and respiration, Group 3 will discuss carbon sinks, Group 4 will discuss burning of fossil fuels, and Group 5 will discuss the food web, which includes the pyramid of energy flow. Students will use 5 minutes to discuss and create concept maps, or list ideas, or just write on the board whatever their group members come up with. If it was a blended mode classroom activity, then these groups will still be created, but they will be discussing synchronously through Skype, Zoom, or Moodle, and after they discuss as their groups, they will then link up with the rest of the class and share their ideas on their different topics. I understand that there are challenges involved, especially here in the Pacific, given that we have internet connectivity or buffering issues. So if that does occur, we can switch to asynchronous discussions through the Moodle forum, discussion forum. And if there are lack of computers or laptops, students can share with their friends, those that are located close to one another, or they can request to hire from either the department or the ICT department. So basically what they will understand is that all these different processes that are involved in the carbon cycle are fundamental to understanding the physical, chemical, and biological processes that occur within the earth. So decomposition, respiration, photosynthesis, carbon sinks, even anthropogenic activities that increase the carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere are all interwoven and interlinked. So during the next 5 minutes, we will summarize each group's discussion outcome for the whole class to see. And then during the last 5 minutes, this will be used to clarify any other doubts. Groups will be given the opportunity to share any suggestions or advice to other groups. I can figure out whether I need to retake a lecture or a tutorial in the case that students find this concept very difficult. And overall, I would like to know whether the students have learned anything new or whether they have understood the concept of the carbon cycle. Tutorial sessions are not assessed as formative assessment. However, the topics that are covered in the tutorials are assessed through the formative assessment of short test 1 and short test 2, which are each worth 10% of the coursework. If I could, I would make participation in discussion sessions as a formative assessment, say 5% of the coursework, and in the case of blended mode, this would be increased to 15%. So, in regards to the face-to-face delivery, after this tutorial session, I would recap during the next lecture what was covered in the tutorials, and I would also give a short 2-minute verbal quiz during the next tutorial discussion session, just as a refresher for the students. I also usually keep any posters, concept maps, any brainstorming session ideas, and I usually display them in the classrooms so that students have a visual confirmation that their hard work is not in vain, that everything that we do in class is vital to their learning process. In the case of blended mode of delivery, the follow-up activities that I would do are supplementary resources would be uploaded onto Moodle, such as website, blog links, journal articles, YouTube videos, ebooks that are related to the carbon cycle. I will also have video and audio recordings of my lectures, and there will also be information regarding the next face-to-face lecture tutorial, and in case of video conferencing, this information will also be placed online. Thank you.